Performing their 2021 program, Maybe, Cavalcade Bands is proud to present the Hazleton Area Marching Groups.
Good evening. Welcome to Harmon Guy Stadium, Friday night under the lights, where our Hazleton area Cougars will take on the Patriots from Pittston. I'm Rocco Petrone with my partner, Luzerne County Councilman Robert Schnee. Tonight, we are bringing you this game via Hazleton Area School District, Channel 99. And folks, this is a student-run broadcast, which makes it much more unique than any other broadcast, run by teacher Christopher Kozlup, whose commitment, pride, and desire helps our students get highlighted in athletics and extracurricular events. And we'll talk more about that as the game goes on. Well, Bob, Nick Barberi, head coach of the Pittston Patriots, comes in tonight 1-2. A lot of tradition with Pittston. Nick is the son of the late coach Bob Barberi, who coached many years at Pittston. Great young man whose son, named after his father, Robbie, would play in here this evening as well. And Bob, you remember Coach Barberi coming in, competing against Coach Matz, and the great thing I can tell you right now is our field house is named after Richie Matz. Pittston's field house is named after Bob Barberi. A lot of tradition here tonight, Mr. Schnee.
As you said, Coach, lot of tradition tonight. I know Coach Matt and Coach Barberi had the utmost respect for each other. They shared the same values on teaching young students not only about football, about life. And as you said, you don't get field houses and buildings named after yourself if you're just that kind of person with those kind of values that people see. And there's not two greater people that was in high school football than Coach Barberi and Coach Matz, what they've done for kids. And ironically, as you said, Coach Barberi's son, Nick, is coaching tonight. And Richie Matz's son left a very lucrative job in New York to come back here and follow in his father's footsteps to be a teacher in Hazleton, and currently he's coaching football, junior high football in Hazleton.
Well said, Mr. Schnee. Well, tonight, Bob, we take on our Hazleton area Cougars, who won their first game last week on the road versus Berwick. And it was a big win. First time we've won in Berwick since 2008. I know Coach Dennis Bookman's very, very proud of our Cougars. And they're taking on a Pittston team, Bob, that quite frankly had a big win last week against Wyoming Valley West. What are you looking for in tonight's game?
What I'm looking for in tonight's game is, again, from the first game to the last game. The first game, Wyoming area had total control of the line of scrimmage. They averaged over 7 yards a rush. The last two games, we cleaned that up under Coach Danny Deal. Great job that he's done with that defense that has the last two games on their rushes is under 3 yards per game. So they have a big front coming in Pittston. We cannot let them control the ball. We got to hit and swarm like we did last week and make them pass the ball. That's our strength. I want them to throw in the secondary. I mean, our secondary people unmatched with anybody in the state of Pennsylvania. So let them throw in our secondary. That's what we want. But we got to stop them on the line of scrimmage.
Well, I think Coach Booker would certainly agree with that. He's counting on his offensive line, defensive line to control the line of scrimmage. But tonight, we're going to go down to the field before game time as our Hazleton Area Cougar Marching Band Director Joe Stefanko play our alma mater and national anthem. Once again, great job by our student Hazleton Area Cougar Marching Band Director Joe Stefanko. Once again, I'm Rocco Patron in the booth with my partner, Luzerne County Councilman Robert Schnee, and our spotter, Samantha Neiman. We're bringing you this game this evening via Hazleton Area School District Network, Channel 99, student-run program, student-run network. And I'm going to give a shout-out to our students, Victoria Kelly, Francelina Solis, Roy Reyes, Adam Ortiz, Brian Schaefer, Caitlin Stevenson, and Jacob Estevez. And they're here with us this evening. And when you have students working like this after school hours to broadcast our extracurricular activities, Bob, that speaks volumes for our student body and our teacher, Christopher Kozlov. Here comes our Cougars taking on Pittston Patriots, looking for consecutive wins. And I will talk a little bit about Coach Brookman. He's excited about this evening. He knows a tradition here with Hazleton Area Cougars. He played for me back when I was coaching the Hazleton Area Cougar football team, played in the early and mid 2000s. And Bob, Coach Brookman and his staff are so dedicated to these student athletes. He's excited about tonight's game, and he knows what it's going to take to get a W this evening.
Right. I think from game 1 to game 3, you could see the improvement in the Cougar football team. You had a lot of inexperienced people on the line in those first couple of games. They got that game experience under their belt now. Now I think you're going to see what the real Cougars are about here. And a great night for football here, Coach Patron. Great night. The band got you all excited. They did a great job. And as Mr. Patron said, all student ran here by Mr. Kozlov. I couldn't be honored more than work with such great kids. They're all very respectful in every phase of their values here. And again, I'm just honored to be a part of this telecast.
Yes, and I absolutely agree with you. And when you talk about our Hazleton Area Cougars trying to establish line of scrimmage, Bob, we got to talk a little bit now about that offensive line. We have Leo Kelly, our normal starter at center, unfortunately unable to play, along with John Beltez Martinez, unable to play. So looking at tonight's lineup, we're going to be going with Raymond Abreu, Juan Fabian, Chris Sachs, Sam Porro, and Dylan Solomon. And I know our offensive line coaches, Coach Brookman, along with the entire team, they're looking for those 5 young men, along with their receivers, running backs, quarterback, to really step up, help us achieve our first home win.
A key missing here, you named Kundrak, Kelly, and Martinez. Kundrak in last year's game had a career night in one night. I don't remember how many people did this, Coach Patron, in one game. He had an interception, a fumble recovery, a block punt, and 2 sacks against Pittston last year. Again, you've been coaching a lot longer than I have. I don't remember somebody doing that in one game.
No, that's a rare. That could be a career in one game. And I know Coach Brookman and his entire staff, many of them I worked alongside with. I was very fortunate to have them as part of my staff back in the 2000s. I know they have their team ready. They're looking forward to showcasing their athletes. Tyler Wolf among them at quarterback, Matthew Brookman in the backfield, Ryan Mattis, Connor Shamani, Matthew Casadas, Christian Price to round out the starters on offense. And Coach Brookman will certainly rotate players in and out. But as we look at the game about to start, I know, Bob, the two of us been around this game many, many years, more than we'd like to admit. The butterflies are flying now.
Yes, they are, Coach. And I'm glad you touched on Ryan Mattis. He's been nothing but stellar these last 3 games. And I couldn't be more happier last week when he scored that touchdown from like 15 yards out. And his father is looking down from heaven. And in all actuality, I was watching his mother. His mother was, I think his mother beat him to the end zone. I mean, she was almost doing cartwheels, but great Ryan, great job honoring your dad and your mom.
Absolutely.
Good job.
And it's all about family, that's for sure. Luke Russo, who you like to talk about, Bob, a lot, big weapon for Hazleton area Cougars, is getting set to kick off. Patriots will receive the kickoff, and we'll get a good look at Luke's leg early on as we start this game. He approaches the ball, and the ball goes deep into the end zone. And again, Bob, you can't ask for more than your kicker when you're burying your opposing team back to starting 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's such a weapon, Coach, that you're starting at your 20. Now you have to go 80 yards. So if you're talking the length of the field, you're talking 4 or 5 more plays. So getting that kickoff and starting at the 20-yard line, what a major plus for the defense. And now the defense just got to go to work like they have done the last 2 weeks.
And that's exactly right. As Pittston approaches the line of scrimmage, they're going to start with, okay, we have just an adjustment of play clock, but they're going to start, looks like in a one-back set, shotgun, 2 receivers wide, double tight. So we'll see if Pittston, what they elect to do early in the game against a 4-man front from our Cougars, and they're going to give the ball off early with absolutely no running room whatsoever. Nice job by a swarm of tacklers, and it looks like the carrier was for Pittston, just bottled up, Bob, right in the line of scrimmage. None other than Mitchell Massett among them making that tackle. So we're looking at 2nd down and long. No gain on 1st down. Back to shotgun, double tight, double wides. Offset to the right. Back to throw, and again, tries to throw out to the flats to Hoban. Broken up by Trevin Corchado, and Trey Corchado, he just does a great job, Bob. He really does.
He read that very well, Coach. He was right out there, put his head down, and made the tackle. Great job, Trevon.
Quarterback Drew DeLuca, just a sophomore for Pittston, trying to hit the flats early, knows that he's up against a stiff competition with Cougars secondary. We're looking at 3rd down and 9. Double tight. Shotgun, offset to left, pressure coming from the outside. You lose the pressure, going to the outside, trying to scramble with absolutely no room. But we do have flags down, and we'll see what the call is, but the defense all over the quarterback early in this football game. So we'll look down to referee Jim Elliott. We'll see what the call is. He's talking to Coach Bookman. So illegal block by Pittston. Of course, Coach Brookman elects to decline, and our punt return team on the field, and it looks like deep will be none other than number 1, Matthew Brookman, and number 6, Connor Shamani. And Coach, both elite athletes, great hands. When the ball's in their hands, they're dangerous.
I'm still waiting for one of them to bring it to the house. They could bring it to the house every time they touch the ball. Come on, Connor.
Nice punt inside the 45-yard line. Looks like he's going to return towards Pittston bench. Crosses midfield, up close to approximately the 46-yard line. Nice job by Pittston stopping the punt return, because like you said, when the ball's in Connor Shamani's hands, anything can happen. Along with his teammate Matthew Bookman, and of course number 4, Matthew Casadas. Any one of them, and you said it yourself, Ryan Mattis, another dangerous weapon for the Cougars. Cougars usually come out in a shotgun or a pistol set, and we'll see what they elect to do early here this evening. Looks like they're in shotgun, 1-back set, motion with Casadas deep. It's actually 2 backs now. Tyler Wolf on the option. Gets it into Matt Brookman's hands for a 5-yard gain, maybe 6. Nice job by Matt Brookman, Coach, getting to the outside.
Yeah, good job of blocking on the perimeter there.
And when you can get your speed on the outside, you're going to have some success. Looks like they gave him 5 yards. Tyler Wolf gets a call from the sideline. Tyler Wolf, Bob, he seems like he just improves every game. Did a nice read option there. Got the ball to Bookman's hands when the defensive end closed down, so he did a really good job. Shotgun set. Bunch formation to the left. Quick toss to Matt Bookman. Can't get to the outside. Makes a move. Nice tackle, maybe for a yard or two. Alex Hoban on the play. Matt maybe got a yard, and we're looking at third down, possibly between 4 and 5 yards.
That was a good job by the Pittston defense. They strung it out there and made the tackle. Got to give Pittston credit there.
Third down, we'll see what Coach Bookman elects to do here. Tyler Wolf gets a call once again from the sideline, goes into a huddle, and as the Cougars break the huddle, we're looking at shotgun formation, 2 receivers each side, quick pass out to the flats to Matt Casadas, and he's close, maybe a yard short, and we'll see if Coach Bookman's decision is going to be here, Coach, on 4th and short, maybe a yard. Nice pass out to the flats, to the athlete, all-state receiver, Matthew Casadas. So Hazleton's getting little success at a time. Pittston running to a traditional 5-man front, and that's kind of a Barberi tradition. The father, Bob Barberi, used to run it. Nick Barberi runs it. We're looking at 4th and short, quick snap, first back through. Second effort is going to give Matthew Bookman the first down, and I like the quick count, Bob. Pittston not quite set in their formation and their stances, and just a quick hitter to their athlete.
Yeah, originally Bookman was stopped. Gaining that was all second effort by Bookman. Great job. Great job, Bookman. Good job.
And that's the Zaire. Keeps his legs moving, and that's what running backs are taught to do. It looks like Matt's going to come out. Matt Bookman in receiver formation. 2 receivers each side. Quick handoff, and a nice job by the Cougars moving the ball again. Tackled by several Pittston Patriots. But nonetheless, nice gain for about 4 yards.
Good run by Mattis. When on contact, there's no hesitation, Coach, as you know. Those legs are always moving on Mattis.
Ryan Matthews is a nice athlete. He's just got a lot of determination. I tell you, he's a leader on this team. It's 2nd down and 7. Cougars running a bunch formation to the left, shotgun, offset to the bunch side. Tyler Wolf drops back, 3-step drop, and he's going to be caught from behind. And I have to tell you, that's a nice job by Pittston on the edge. And it looks like, I don't know if that was number 82, Bob Jones, but it was a nice play by Pittston getting after the quarterback. Tyler Wolf just didn't have enough time. So we're looking at 3rd down and 20. 2 receivers each side, shotgun set. Tyler Wolf getting the signals. He has Matt Bookman in the backfield. Looks like a screen in the middle. And it's set up really nice. He's going to get more than 10 yards on the play. Pittston area makes a stop. Gets past the original line of scrimmage. And we're looking at a 4th down and 9 to go. And let's see what Coach Bookman elects to do. And Bob, it looks like he's bringing his punt team on. Don't be surprised if Coach Bookman may have a trick or two here with special teams in week 4. Luke Russo gets a snap, gets the punt off, tries to corner it. Ball goes out of bounds. Hazleton's going to get a nice spot somewhere around the 8-yard line. And Pittston come out for their second formation. So the sack, Bob, took Hazleton area out of their rhythm a little bit. They're moving the ball. Quarterback sack speaks volumes for the defense. It really just turns a game around.
And again, great job by the X Factor. I call him Luke Russo. I was down at practice the other day watching him punt the ball. He had the soccer net in the end zone under the goalpost. He put like 8 out of 10 in the soccer net. So Luke could put the ball wherever he wants. And again, last week, without that rugby running the week before, I mean, he averaged over 50 yards a kick. And
Pittston coming out in a traditional set, 2 backs, quarterback under the center. Looks like a counter to the right side. Gets a little bit of success off the right side. Cougar defensive left side, maybe 2 yards. Second down. Maximo Tacona in on the stop along with others. I have to tell you, he seems to me like he improves every week as well. I know we say the name Ray Abreu a lot, but Maximo's right in there with him.
Yeah,
along with Ryan Mattis. Sorry, Bob. Second down, 7 yards to go. Again, 2 backs, offset. Looks like quarterback's going to give the ball to the fullback for a minimal gain. And the Cougars, like Bob Schnee likes to say, are flying and swarming to the ball.
And you just mentioned his name. He was actually right in on that tackle. Great job, Maximo.
Maximo's doing a nice job for the Cougars. In fact, I was just talking to Coach Drummy today because I do talk to the coaches quite often. And when I was mentioning Maximo's name, I think he just improves every game. Shores up that inside for our Cougars at D tackle. Third down. Shotgun. 2 receivers to the tight end side. Looks like it's going to be a tight end screen. Gets the ball to number 1, but Cougars read it really, really well. Kayvon Minor. What a great job reading that screen, because you could see the Patriots trying to set it up by lining the tight end up to the right side. Came across the formation to the left side. Tried to draw the Cougars in. They weren't having any of it, and it's 4th down. Nice job of the defense. Coach Steele, along with the defensive coaches, got to be happy so far with the Cougars tonight.
Great job by Minor, as you said, reading that screen.
Short punt. Matt Bookman picks it up. He's going to the right side toward Pittston's bench. Crosses the 35-yard line. Looks like Cougars will start in excellent field position with 4 minutes and 29 seconds going to first quarter. Cougars have the ball on Pittston's 34-yard line. Tyler Wolf comes in the game, gets a call from the sideline. You can see the Cougars are pumped up tonight on this beautiful Friday night. We're going to come out with a 1-back set and 2 cheaters up in the backfield to the trip side. Ball's going to Bookman. Looks off tackle, and a great finish. He was met in the backfield by it looked like Harry Pugliese, but keeping his legs moving, Bob, as you said earlier on the first drive, he's a nasty runner, and I mean that as the biggest compliment I could give Matthew Bookman, because he just keeps those legs moving.
Bookman just comes from a bevy of running backs that have come through Hazleton in the last 20 years. And you coached most of them.
Tyler's going to get the snap. Tyler Wolf looking to his right. Goes to his second or third choice, and that's a great read by Tyler Wolf as he looked for his hot read. That wasn't there. Decides to go over to his left, and that's a great progression by Tyler Wolf hitting Matthew Casadas. Got to be happy with Tyler Wolf's progression with that read, Bob.
That's a great job. And going back to all the great running backs that have gone through here, Bookman could run with any of those running backs.
Oh, he's a very good one. He's doing it since his freshman year, and you got to enjoy watching him. Option read. Tyler Wolf gets the ball out to Matt Bookman, and I have to say Pittston played that very well. When you play against an option team like that, you have to have your assignments. Pittston did well reading the quarterback as well as the pitch man, and that's a loss. That's a big play for Pittston's defense as the Cougars are moving the ball to the 25-yard line. They're looking at 2nd and 12. I like how Coach Bookman has this rhythm going, getting the plays in quickly, getting to the line of scrimmage quickly. He looks like he has some cheaters back up in a pistol set. He's going to try to establish the run again. Matt Bookman breaks the tackle, possibly gets back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe a yard short, looking at 3rd and long.
Big play here for the Cougars.
Yes, I agree. 3rd down 11. Tyler Wolf brings the play in, gets the call from the coaching staff on the sideline. Coach Drumhiller coaching the running backs. I know he likes to see those athletes play as hard as they possibly can. Looks like a pistol formation with 2 backs. Ryan Mattis going up the sideline. Great pass by Tyler Wolf, just a little overthrown. And that was right from the backfield. Tyler Wolf in the fullback position goes right up the sideline. Tough play to cover. Tyler Wolf with a great read. And unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the ball to make it 4th and 12.
Don't be surprised later in the game if you don't see that play. That play was right there.
Yeah, I think they'll come back to that again. It's a tough formation to cover. Back out of the backfield. Linebackers got to be aware of the run and the pass. Tough to run with a speedster like that. Trips to the left side. Tyler Wolf in shotgun. Matt Bookman to the trip side. Tyler with a 5-step drop down the middle of the field. Well covered by Pittston. Had to throw the ball high. And Tyler Wolf was right by throwing that high, Bob, because it was either our guy catching it or nobody. Got to give Pittston credit on the cover. So we're looking at a turnover on downs. Pittston come out for their 3rd set. 1:54 to go in the first. Still 0 for each team. Coach Steele signaling in the defense. Coach Bookman talking to his offense right now, talking to Tyler Wolf. He'll make some adjustments. Hazleton coming out in their 4-man front. Shotgun for Pittston, 2 receivers each side. Now we're going to have a shift to a strong side. So now we have quads. Unbalanced. Nice job on the toss to the unbalanced side. Gets a good gain for maybe 4 or 5. Now I will tell you that they ran unbalanced, but Trey Corchado went from weak to strong side outside backer, and Bobby, I have to say that he played that pretty well.
Yes, he did. The only flaw I found there, Coach, we might be we got to stay at home a little bit on that weak side. I mean, if he would have made that run past that one defender, he had open field.
They shift again to the strong side, this time to their left, Cougars right side, but Cougars saying, not this time.
Good job, D.
I see Ray Abreu in there. Nice job by the Cougars. Ray Abreu, one of them, but there was several Cougars on the play. And I'm looking at number 9, Jim Beltray. He's playing another good defensive game. And the young man that was featured, Nikos Raypatch, in at D-tackle as well, had a nice feature in the paper today. Nothing but proud of that young man. Pittston runs play action. Trying to run some time, ball out in the flats. It's complete, but read extremely well by number 10, Ryan Matthews, who prevents Pittston from getting the first down. Nikos Raypatch coming off the field. I was just talking about him, and it's 4th and short. And boy, Coach Barberi has a big decision to make on the road. He's going to let the clock run down, obviously, let the first quarter end. But it's a battle of the trenches right now, and this is exactly what Bob Schneed talked about in pregame. Who's going to win the battle of the line of scrimmage? Nothing as quarter 1 comes to an end, Bob. What are you seeing up front so far?
As you would say, a stalemate, Coach. I mean, you've coached against Mr. Barberi when he was the coach, and his son is doing the same kind of a job. They're very disciplined offensively and defensively. And if you're going to beat them, you're going to beat a better team, talent-wise and physical-wise. Or you're not going to beat them because they're not going to beat themselves. They're a similar model to which we are, Coach.
And that's a really good point. When Bob Schneed says you're not going to beat yourself, he's talking about discipline, fundamentals, staying within doing your job, whether you're an offensive lineman, whether you're a defensive lineman, linebacker, receiver, quarterback, D-back, tight end, do your job, stay within yourself, stay within the game. Both teams obviously coach extremely well.
And, Coach, you touched on Raypatch before. And, again, you have to say how proud we are of this young man. He lost 90 pounds because he was only playing a down or two last year. And you know what that is, Coach? That's love of the people that you're with in that locker room, and that's love of the game. So you got to take your hat out to Ray Patch. Great job.
Pittston looks like they're set up to go for it. They shift. Let's see if they snap the ball. They're trying to draw the Cougars offside, and that's exactly what they do. Jim Beltre got a little over anxious, and that's going to be a first down if indeed it is against our Cougars, which it definitely is. Offsides, and it happens. Listen, we were just talking about being disciplined, being fundamentally sound, but everybody does this. You saw the New York Giants do it Thursday night when Washington was lined up for a field goal, so it happens at every level. Young man Jim Beltre, there's no doubt you'll make up for that. No one play is going to decide a W or an L. That's why it's the ultimate team sport. Pittston in a shotgun formation, two receivers to one side, offset to the two receiver side. DeLuca rolls out in a shotgun, looking downfield, has a man for a first down out in the flats, somewhere to around the 47 or 48 yard line, and a first down. A nice job by the young man DeLuca. So by rolling out, Bob, he established perimeter, had extra time, hit the flats for a first down. Got to give that sophomore some credit. Ball spot, the 48-yard line. Pittston comes out in a shotgun. Two receivers each side, double tight. Shotgun looking down the middle of the field. Hits his man, complete. Ryan Matthews on the tackle. And unfortunately, it looks like it's number 87. We don't have a name for number 87. Well, so Christopher Kozlov's going to try to help us out. That's number 87. So we have Alex Shovelin, Christopher Kozlov on top of things, running our broadcasting station. Lets me know that's Alex Shovelin at tight end. He's only a sophomore. Ball gets handed off. Number 6 breaks the tackles, but teammates are there. But Harry Pugliese, who seems to be all over this field, both sides of the ball, running hard, was caught in the backfield by several Cougars. Matthews finishing him off, and it's looking like 3rd and long now, Bob.
Initial contact by Abreu. He's the one that held him up for the other guys to clean him up.
And that's what being a linebacker is all about. If your front people can do that, linebackers will clean things up. Ryan did his job. 3rd and long. Two receivers each side, shotgun set. Cougars will come after him here. And we have flags down, which means Pittston had to have some movement up front for the play to be blown dead by the linesman. Dead ball, false start for Pittston. So now we're going from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 13. And Pistons really not the team that wants to be 3rd and long, Bob. They want to establish 5-6 yards of play. Their short ground game, they know that Hazleton has nothing but athletes and speed and determination on defense. Coach Barberi, 3rd and 13, is a tough position at midfield. Two receivers to each side. Offset to the right to Luca, getting the snap from center. He's going to look to his right under pressure. Goes ball downfield, covered by Connor Shamani. But I think he came down with the catch. Pittston area with a big catch over Connor Shamani, one of the best cornermen on the Cougar team. And that ball was up for grabs, Bob. Pittston came down with it.
That's just a situation where, he wanted it more than Connor. That ball actually should have been knocked down or intercepted.
And I think that's exactly what Coach Brookman's pointing at right now. As they're looking at him at the 30-yard line, he has his hand pointing in the air. And Coach always says, when that ball's in the air, Bob, it's anybody's ball.
Right, and Connor knows Connor's the better athlete.
No doubt. Two-back set under the shotgun, goes to the fullback. First man through is the fullback. Gets stopped by a host of Cougars, led by Ray Abreu. and Maximo and Beltre, and a great job by the Cougars. Second down. That Maximo Decano's all over that field. I love watching him play. He's got pad level, gets down lower than the offensive lineman, just the way he's taught. Coach Major, one of the D-line coaches, and Coach Sacco and Coach Starrick have to be extremely pleased. New formation with split backs. Shotgun. Both backs flare to each side. DeLuca's under pressure, drops the ball, and it looks like the ball is loose. They're fighting for it. I think Pittston got it back. But a great job by the Cougars putting them under pressure. Both backs flare. Both were covered very well by the linebackers. Secondary did their job covering receivers. Coach Drumholder's got to be very thrilled with that. And it's third and forever.
And my guy, Lawrence Taylor, Jim Beltre, was right there. Great job, Beltre.
I enjoy watching that young man improve every week as well. So trips formation, third and 23 to the left side. DeLuca has his backs also flared out to the left. Completes the pass to the tight end, shoveling. But too many Cougars there, led by number 2, Mitchell Maston, and his fourth and long. So not a bad play by Pittston, but Cougars just got the best of that. And let's go back to what I said earlier. When the Cougars had the ball, had a quarterback sack. You had a quarterback sack now by the Cougars against Pittston. It just turns a drive completely around, Bob. Pittston's going to punt now. Hazleton's deep in their own territory. And we'll see how Coach Barberi plays this, if he's going to punt it to one of the athletes or try to angle it out of bounds. Looks like he's going toward his bench. Fair catch on the 1 or 2 yard line by Connor. And Connor knows not the fair catch stat. He's better off letting that go into the end zone. Sometimes you don't really realize where you are, and Connor has great hands. If he puts his hands up, he's going to catch the ball. Look for the Cougars to go to Connor Shemaine to get them out of this. Last week against Berwick, I talked to Coach Bookman today. I said, Coach, you're throwing the ball out of your own end zone. You threw that fade to Connor Shemaine for 50 yards. He said, you better believe it, and I wouldn't be surprised, Coach, if he comes right back to it right now. 1st and 10 for the Cougars, and they're on their own 3 yard line. He has Connor Shemaine wide right. Single receiver side, trips to the left, shotgun. I have a feeling, look to your right here, Coach Snee. And quarterback draw, played very, very well by Pittston's defensive end. And, Coach, that's why I'm up in the booth. I thought we were looking at a fade, ended up with a quarterback draw. And we're looking at 2nd down and 11. Samantha Neiman spotting for us, letting us know who has the ball, who's making the tackle. She's dedicating her time here, helping her son, Christopher Kozlop, run the broadcasting class at Hazen Area Career Center, and that's who's bringing this game tonight. A completely student-run program. Bob Schnee, Samantha Neiman, and myself volunteering our time to help Christopher and his students. Ball goes to Bookman, who tries to cut up the middle. Pitts is not having anything like that happen against their front line. And right now, Coach Barberi with his 5-man front, he's standing strong. Got to give the Patriots some credit up front because Coach Bookman knows Matthew Bookman, like you said earlier, is one of our better running backs. Not easy to bring him down. So we're looking at 3rd down and 11. And Coach Bookman's having a long conversation with Tyler Wolf. And as our play clock is now down to 10 seconds, we're going to have to keep an eye on that. 3rd and long. Play clock is now under 5. And he does get the snap off. He's looking at a slant to Matt Casadas, who's going to be very, very close to the yard mark for the 1st down. Let's see where they spot it. So ran a slant. We're looking at 4th down and short. And maybe, Bob, the Cougars will return the favor and try to draw Pittston off sides here. Actually, they don't need to because now officials calling it a first down. So a nice slant from Wolf to Casadas to get them out of deep territory, and that turns a game around because no matter what happens on this drive now, you're not punting out of your own end zone unless they get another quarterback sack. So we're looking at Tyler Wolf in a pistol formation, gives the ball outside to Matt Brookman, who's got some running room, runs the daylight, close to the 20-yard line, gets maybe 3 or 4 yards. So Matt makes a move, trying to go off tackle and bounces it to the outside. Positive gain for the Cougars. I like going back to the ground game there.
Maybe now, Coach, you'll see that play you called.
Well, sooner or later, there's no doubt he's going to try to go up top against the corners of Pittston, who are starting to, the secondary's creeping closer to the line of scrimmage, getting more and more of their men in the box, trying to stop the run. Both Casadas and Shimani ride to the right, pistol formation, back to fake to Brookman on a reverse. And Matthew Casadas gets some running room, breaks a tackle, flags are down, and you may be getting a face mask here as well. We'll see what the call is. First down, nice job, Matthew Casadas. Now it looks like they're facing the Cougar side of the ball, so this may be going against the Cougars. I thought maybe it was a face mask on the tackle, but the way the official's facing, looks like he's going to march it off against our beloved Cougars. So the penalty go against the Cougars, negates the first down. Still sitting in pretty good position. Looks like it's still going to remain second down and maybe 4. Tyler Wolf gets a call from the bench. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half. Cougars on the march. Christian Price, single receiver side. Play action. Out in the flats to Ryan Matthews from the fullback position. And I have to tell you, that's a really, really nice play. Christian Price runs off the corner. Throw the ball to Matthews out in the flats where there's nobody there. Great design, Coach Brookman. First down for the Cougars.
Yeah, Coach, like you said earlier in this series, their secondary's cheating up. They're daring you to pass the ball. So let's pass the ball. We have the weapons.
And you could see great design by Coach Brookman as Christian Price runs off the corner, hitting Matthews out in the flats. After play action, tough for a linebacker to cover that. Pistol formation, 2 backs. Single receiver side up top. A delayed handoff to Matthew Brookman, fighting for extra yardage. Pittston tough to run off tackle. Does a nice job, but still gained about 4 or 5 yards. And this young man, Alex Shovlin's all over that field, along with Brandon Farrell for Pittston. 2nd and 6. Cougars again moving the ball, getting some chunks, and they're getting close to the 40-yard line, Coach. And Coach Brookman's just being methodical. And he would like nothing more to run this clock down as far as he can, get some points before the half, and they'll be sitting good. Trips to the short side of the field. Single receiver up top, wide side of the field. Stop and go to, looks like Corchado. Incomplete. But a nice call to the 3 receiver side, running a stop and go, just like you said, Bob Schnee. You would expect them to go up top, and that's exactly what they did. This corner, Harry Puglisi, is doing a nice job. Cougar Faithful is out. You can see the student body. Nice crowd here on the home side. And you can see them dressed all in red. Love to see our student body supporting our athletes, supporting each other. It's like one big family. And that's what's best about Hazleton Area High School. Take it from me, former principal of Hazleton Area High School. Our students are the best. Trips left. Tyler Wolf looks to the left, looks down the middle of the field. He has a man, Matthew Casadas, and the Cougars, who started the ball at their own 2 or 3 yard line. I believe their own 3. They're marching now with authority, crossing the midfield mark, And that's exactly what Coach Bookman wants to do. And Bob Schnee, you called it. Start airing it out, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Outstanding design of that play right there by Coach Bookman.
Excellent job making the linebackers cover underneath the backers and behind the backers. Trip side to the right, shotgun. That ball's going to Matt Bookman. Nice cutoff tackle to go to the outside. Perimeter was there after zone blocking on the trip side, and a nice run for about 6 yards. Cougars on the march, and right now I know calling plays in high school football, you can get in the rhythm. I think Coach Bookman's in the rhythm right now. Trips to the left side, Connor Shamani single receiver side. He's looking in the middle. Again, he has found something behind the linebackers, Bob, after play action. Linebackers are biting on Matt Bookman, and they're throwing the ball. As the backers step up, they're throwing the ball in the middle of the field. Great design play again. Cougars moving the chains. .36-yard line, 1st and 10, approaching the 2-minute mark, 2 receivers each side. Tyler's in a shotgun, looks to his left, again middle of the field on a slide pattern, breaks the tackle and close to a first down. Great job by a young man by the name of Jose Rodriguez. Gets his first catch, I believe his first catch of the season. And if it's not a first down, it's pretty close. We're going to call it 2nd and 2.
Good job. Good route by Jose.
Really nice route. I used to call that a slant slide. It's a slide route where it looks like you're running a slant and you slide toward the sidelines, and just a really nice pattern. Connor Shamani, single receiver to the wide side of the field. Clock stopped, and Pittston, I have to agree with Coach Barberi here, calling a timeout, and I know he knows right now his defense are on their heels. A long, sustained, methodical drive by the Cougars. Good timeout, Bob, by Pittston.
Yes. Coach, I just can't believe how quick this game's going. It's like we just sat down to start the game.
Yeah, the game's going quick because a lot of ground game. And when you have a lot of ground game, that clock's going to keep moving. Now, in high school, clock's going to stop when you get a first down. But both teams trying to establish the run game. And when you're completing passes, as the Cougars are, clock's going to continue to run, with the exception of moving the chains. So with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, ball on the 28-yard line, and I know Coach Bookman would like nothing more than cap off a 97-yard drive, which would speak volumes for that offensive line that we talked about, missing 2 starters up front and marching the field. You have a visitor in the booth. We got to get rid of that fly, Coach. 2nd down and 2. Connor Shamani, single receiver side to the Cougar bench. Trips up top to the short side of the field. Wide side of the field, Connor is by himself. Looks for a nice slant pass or a skinny post, and a great call. So when you look at single receiver wide side, anytime you go short side with trips, you know something's up on the wide side. That's exactly what Coach Bookman did. Slant or skinny post is going to be there. 2 receivers each side for the hurry-up offset. Offense now for the Cougars, 1 back set. Now they're going to do a check with the bench as they get the call from Coach Drumheller. Matthew Bookman goes from offset left to offset right. Pass going to a slide pattern again, this time to Casadas. So again, they ran that same slide they ran earlier, this time to Casadas, and there's no doubt Coach Bookman found something with that defense where he's having much success. Where the linebackers are vacating, he's found a lot of success right now. And you know yourself, Coach, when you play linebacker and you have to first commit to that run, you're going to take a step forward naturally, a step or 2 forward. Well, behind you, you're going to hit the flats, you're going to hit some slants, you're going to hit a post, and that's exactly what Coach Bookman's doing. He is calling an excellent game on this drive. Just calling plays. Coach Bookman's calling every play, getting that ball in to Tyler, or to play into Tyler Wolf, but he's getting a lot of help from that coaching staff. none other than the veteran Jim Drumler in his 34th year of coaching in the Hazleton Area School District at Hazleton Mountaineers and Hazleton Area Cougars. Myself, I coached 21 years, Bob, and never coached a game without Coach Drumheller. There's nobody better.
No.
So we're looking at third down. Ball is placed. Well, the yard marker is saying second down, scoreboard saying third down. Ball is placed on the 5-yard line. Play clock now begins. Tyler Wolf's in his shotgun. Matt Bookman gets the handoff, and I believe there's movement up front. So this is going to be whistled dead by Jim Elliott and gives us a signal that it's a false start by the Cougars. I don't know if that's really going to make much of a difference with very little time on the clock, but now the clock says 52 minutes, Bob. So you see, they heard you complain the game was going too fast, so they put 52 minutes on the scoreboard. So 52 seconds left in the half. It's I'm not sure if it's second down or third down. The yard mark's saying second, the scoreboard's saying third. My guess is it's second down, Bob. Cougars going to go trips to the left side. Connor Shamani, single receiver side. Bookman gets the fake handoff. Ball's going to go deep into the end zone. Touchdown! What a perfect pass from Tyler Wolf to number 5, Jose Rodriguez. Touchdown, Cougars. And the home crowd has something to cheer about as the Cougars, for the first time this year, have the lead at home.
Coach, that's a great pass. Great pass by Tyler.
Yeah, that pass was a lot.
And a great reception by a kid that's just getting action tonight. Has 2 key catches.
Exactly right. He's a senior, 5'7", 155, Jose Rodriguez. But that pass by Tyler Wolf was a lot tougher than people realize. Connor Shamani with the hold, pressure, but Luke Russo puts it true. 7-0. Hazleton Area Cougars getting a nice reception from the fans with 46 seconds left in the half. That is one heck of a march for 97 yards, and that's something the coaches will talk about during film session this week, how you can march the field 97 yards and do it methodically. Look, when you hit a fade and you break a tackle and you go the distance, that's one thing, but when you do it methodically, play after play, running the ball, passing the ball short, passing the ball deep, that's a coach's dream. Everything is working. Great job by Coach Bookman, the staff, and the players.
Coach, I'm still impressed with that pass from Wolf. Like, there's not too many kids that can make that pass.
You're 100% right, and let's talk about Rodriguez catching that ball with a receiver blocking his vision as he runs that post pattern, but he stayed with it, looked the ball in, caught the ball, and obviously Jose Rodriguez is showing something to the coaches at practice that got him into this game tonight, and I love the staff for using more and more of our players, because that just makes the opposing coach have to prepare for more people, which is not easy to do. Luke Russo is going to kick off. Cougars with the lead, 7-0 as we wind down the first half. Squib kick to the up man. Pittston just falls on it. Very smart, very well coached. 34-yard line, and I don't think Coach Barberi's going to take too many chances here.
No.
So Pittston looking to the sideline. I see Robbie Barberi, number 4, looking to the sideline as well. That's Coach Barberi's son. Excellent athlete, excellent bloodline with high school football. And it looks like they may have us re-kick. So they're calling the Cougars offside in the kickoff. You don't see that too often. Pittston elects Cougars to re-kick. And maybe Coach Barberi can do something with special teams. I'm not sure why he'd have them re-kick with 45 seconds to go. You don't want anything to go wrong here if you're the opposing team down 7-0. But we'll see what Coach Barberry has up his sleeve as he has his son, Robbie Barberry, deep in the middle for Pittston. I see Harry Pugliese is also one of them. And we'll see how the Cougars elect if they're going to kick it deep or squib it again. And maybe, Bob, because of the squib kick, Luke took an extra step or two, and some of our kids were a little overzealous stepping over the line. So we're waiting for the senior Dennis Bookman telling the clock manager 47.9 seconds. So the clock is set. Everything's correct now. Luke approaches the ball. This time he's going to give it a deep kick. And Rob Barberry has it. He's going to look up the middle, try to break a tackle or two. But you couldn't ask for better coverage by the Cougar kicking team. And with our special teams, I would be happy to kick again because we can swarm tackle to the ball. And I'm expecting Pittston to do nothing but kneel on the ball here, Bob.
Great job, like you said, by our special teams. They've had a little trouble in the previous games where they were coming out of their lanes. That time they stayed in their lanes and they swarm tackled. Great job by the special teams there. And as you said, little by little, the successes are piling up, and you're going to see a lot of wins coming down the line here.
If the Cougars could play like this on both sides of the ball, that certainly happen. DeLuca under the center, two backs, and he is going to elect to hand the ball off. Have to be careful. You don't want to turn the ball over against the Cougars here. But Pittston will settle for minimal gain. Nothing fancy there. Simple off tackle out of an I formation to the tight end side. And I believe they'll just let the clock run right out here. Coach Bookman will go in. He'll talk about success. He'll tell his players, let's start this game all over again at 0-0. Don't let your guard down because it's only one score, and he knows he's got to go out and play tough defense, continue to keep the offense moving.
Again, Coach, going back to some of the people that are filling in on the line tonight, I mean, all you're doing is giving them game experience. I mean, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but when they come back healthy, you have more people to interchange here. And again, Rodriguez, coming from out of nowhere, great job tonight.
At this point, Lady Cougars doing a nice job defensively.
Says push it for Morocco.
I feel like Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring.
Krasinski will kick it ahead of the wall.
I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I told him out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run in my pace.
Harley Krasinski, 0-0 for Hazleton
They
area.
know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
Each day I wake up, I'm waiting, 'cause I don't know how I'm gonna make it. All of these monsters I'm facing, oh, you know what it is, help me sing it. Oh, I see the giants, giants. Oh, I see the giants, giants. But I'm not alone, got my sword in my hands. Giants, they try to take over the land, but we won't be moved by the monsters of man. They gon' fall down, we gon' stand. Hey, 'cause I see them fall, I see them fall. I see the change coming soon, dog, man, I seen it all. I seen it all. Giants, they stand tall for a minute, but I seen the gall. I seen the gall. Looking down on me like I'm finished, but don't know the call. They don't know the call. I see the down cost and afflicted, man, I see the small. I see the small. These giants, they wanna try hard to kill us, but who playing ball? Man, who playing ball? I see them fall. I see them fall. Man, I see them fall. Said I see them fall. I see them fall. I see them fall. I see them fall. I see my mama crying real tears. I seen that cancer coming still pierce. I seen the little girl.
this point, Lady Cougars doing a nice job defensively.
Says push side for Morocco.
I feel like Jordan, give me the rock and I'm scoring.
Krasinski will kick it ahead of the wall.
I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I told him out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run in my pace.
Harley Krasinski, 0-0 for Hazleton
They
area.
know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game. I told them this ain't a game.
The GP will see you now.
Each day I wake up, I'm waiting. 'Cause I don't know how I'm gonna make it. All of these monsters I'm facing, oh, you know what it is, help me sing it. Oh, I see the giants, giants. Oh, I see the giants, giants. But I'm not alone, got my sword in my hands. Giants, they try to take over the land, but we won't be moved by the monsters of man. They gon' fall down, we gon' stand. Hey, 'cause I see them fall, I see them fall. I see the change coming soon, dog, man, I seen it all. I seen it all. Giants, they stand tall for a minute, but I seen the gall. I seen the gall. Looking down on me like I'm finished, but don't know the call. They don't know the call. I see the down call, sin afflicted, man, I see the small. I see the small. These giants, they wanna try hard to kill us, but who playing ball? Man, who playing ball? I see them fall. I see them fall. Man, I see them fall. Said I see them fall. I see them fall. I see them fall. I see them fall. I see my mama crying real tears. I seen that cancer coming still pierce. I seen the little
On the line with a victory tonight is a trip to Mohegan Sun Arena for a sub-regional championship. As the number 1 seed from the Wyoming Valley Conference, Lady Cougars of Hazleton area play host to the number 4 seed from the Lackawanna League, the Lady Knights of Scranton.
Hello, my name is Mr. Koslav. I teach at the Hazleton Area Career Center and I teach audio-video communication.
My name is Miss Alice Nicholas. I teach here at the Hazleton Area Career Center, and I teach health careers, all 3 levels, along with the nurse's aid training.
Hi, my name is AJ Eric. I'm the culinary arts teacher at the Hazleton Area Career Center.
A lot of students who are considering attending the Hazleton Area Career Center should really take it seriously. I mean, the shops, the amenities, and everything that these programs offer are going to allow you to really explore your interest, but also have a viable career option after graduation.
When we're comparing CTE classes to any type of academic course, we spend a lot of time making sure our students are career ready. So it's not just basic skills. We're teaching them teamwork. We're teaching 21st century skills. How can our students work together? How can our students become positive parts of our communities? We're teaching them professionalism, leadership, and again, these are skills that you're not going to find in all academic courses.
I think what makes CTE stick out is it's real. But in the real world, we need workers. Everywhere you go, there's somebody doing a task, somebody doing a job. This is teaching you the task, the job. So to me, this is even more important, or just as important as your academics.
CTE programs differ greatly from that of academia. There's a different focus, a different emphasis, and a different approach to the education model.
I think all CTE programs are trying to mimic the real world as much as possible.
I think because we actually go to the nursing home and work, they're doing the actual job of a nurse's aide.
My program personally, we have an active restaurant where guests get to come in, dine with us, experience our food, and then at the end they really get to critique and let us know how we're doing, which really gets the students ready for what happens in the real world, but in a learning environment. So we do understand that there can be mistakes, but sometimes mistakes are okay because this is just a learning environment.
There will always be sick people. There'll always be a need for nurses and nurses' aides in our world.
The only advice I can give a student who has any form of hesitation on whether to come to the Career Center is to give it a try.
In the office. Welcome back to Harmon Guy Stadium via Hazleton Area School District, Channel 99. I'm Rocco Patron with Bob Schnee, Samantha Neiman, our spotter, Christopher Kozlop, our teacher of the broadcasting communications class at the Hazleton Area Career Center, bringing this production that's a complete student-led production, which makes our Channel 99 more unique than most other stations. Victoria Kelly, Francelina Solis, Roy Reyes, Adam Ortiz, Brian Schaefer, Caitlin Stevenson, and Jacob Estevez. They're the students from the broadcasting class, teacher Christopher Kozlop, bringing this production tonight. And I have to tell you, you got to give these young men and women a lot of credit, because they're here late at night on a Friday night working while they see their classmates in the stands, walking around the stadium, maybe getting a snack or two. These students are the absolute best. It's our honor to work with Mr. Kozlop and his class, and I know Bob Schnee, Luzerne County Councilman, you agree with the kind of students we have.
Totally, Coach, totally.
So the Cougars,
these kids are just so respectful. It's just amazing the values they bring.
It's a tribute to our district. It's a tribute to our teachers. It's a tribute to our students, our families. There's nothing like the Hazleton Area School District, the Hazleton Area community. And look at Harmon Guy Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. So many people here. Just, it's great to see. It's great to see. Nothing like Friday night under the lights.
Coach, while we're on the topic of family, I'd just like to thank the Hazleton Quarterback Club. There's 30 members there. They have been in business for 30, 40 years just helping kids out, helping the program out. So I just want to give them a shout out to those 30 guys that do everything for kids. That's what it's all about.
Boy, that's an excellent point. We have so many booster clubs in Asian Area High School. Quarterback club is second to none. President George Fidul. We had an icon pass away not too long ago in Rocco Colangelo, who was the president. His father passed away when I was coaching. He was the president. And when I coached Asian Area High School football, it was the quarterback club that was the most selfless people I've ever been around. They would do anything for our students. The Cougars, who are up 7-0, enjoying a lead at home, will start with the ball in the second half. As the ball is kicked off, it's going right in number 4, Matthew Casadas' hands, who's looking for daylight, breaks it to the Pittston side, up close to the 40-yard line. And Bob Schnee, when Matthew Casadas has the ball, I tell you, it's dangerous for the opposing team.
Yeah, he's just an exceptional athlete with tremendous speed. And again, as good of an athlete, that's how good of a person he is.
Oh, excellent person, excellent student. Our Cougars are gentlemen. Off the field, students off the field, putting each other first. Just a great group of kids. So the Cougars come out. Tyler Wolf tosses it to Matthew Bookman, who's trying to get perimeter. And I have to tell you, this young man, Harry Pugliese, for Pittston, he is playing a nice corner. I know he needs some help underneath with some of those stop and slide routes and play action, but he's doing a nice job defensively all around. It looks to me like they put him at safety when they're too high, they put him at corner when they're one high, they run some man, and right now they're sitting in a cover 2 with their 5-man front, and now they're going to shift to a cover 3 and move Pugliese up to outside backer. Snap and a quick pass to Connor Shamani, who can't escape a quick hitch route. I like the quick hitter from Wolf to Shamani, but he stopped quickly, but it looks like David Gurman, and we're looking at third down and maybe 11 or 12, Bob.
Yes, I'd rather see that play ran to the short side of the field, that play. They had 2 guys against our 1 guy.
2 receivers each set shotgun, offset to the wide side. Matthew Casetta goes in motion to the trip side. Connor Shamani is single receiver. Now he's going to break loose.
And there he goes. There he goes.
Pass to Connor Shamani. Touchdown, Cougars. And I'm going to tell you what happened there. As Tyler Wolf was scrabbling, the corner came off of Connor. Tyler Wolf had the presence of mind to hold on to the ball, look for the open receiver, and that's what happens when you scramble. He is just coming of age as a quarterback. The corner comes up thinking he's going to take off, stops, plants his foot, hits Connor Shamani, and once the ball is his hands, like Bob Schnee used to say, I'll quote Bob Schnee, he took it to the house. 13-0 Cougars.
Great job, Connor. Great job, buddy.
The kick is up, and the hands go up by the officials. 14-0 Cougars. So Tyler Wolf, who's scrambling to the Cougar side on a 3rd and long, looks like he's going to take off. When the corner comes up, releases his man, which was Connor Shamani, and they were only single high. No other safety in present. Touchdown, Cougars.
Coach, his decision-making for his 4th start is unbelievable.
Extremely, extremely impressive. So the Cougars have it going. The last 2 times they had the ball, they put points on the board, and that's going to make our coaching staff really, really happy. Rick Painter, who works with the quarterbacks, and I know he's got to be extremely happy with his quarterback holding on to the ball. A lot of high school quarterbacks will tuck and run, and he kept looking downfield, eyes wide open, and under duress as the corner's coming up. Defense putting pressure on him. He hits Connor Shemani down the sideline. Big touchdown for the Cougars. Now have a 2-score lead. And when you have a 2-score lead, your defense can play with a lot more confidence and a lot more open. Jeff Perkowski, our special teams coach, has the Cougars kick the ball deep. And we're going to get a return here by Robbie Barberi, who's looking right up the middle, breaks a couple tackles. He's being chased down as he gets near the midfield. Crosses midfield, finally caught up to the 48-yard line. And that's athletic ability by Robbie Barberi, Coach Barberi's son. Christian Price, who's probably the safety, Bob, on the kickoff team, using a good athlete like Christian, has to make the tackle, or he may have gone the distance, and that's not what you want after scoring a touchdown. Nonetheless, Pittston has good field position, down 14-0. We'll see what Coach Barberi wants to do as he goes wide side of the field with his son, Robbie Barberi, and Matthew Casadas is with him. I formation, looks like a little bit of a counter. Pugliese carrying the ball, and he looks a little more determined. Maybe a little talky at halftime. Coach Barberi trying to fire up his team. His father will be extremely proud of him, and very proud of his grandson, by the way, as well, number 4. 8 yards for the Cougars. First down, as we're joined in the booth by our athletic director, Fred Barletta. Second to none as athletic directors in the state of Pennsylvania. Hazleton area is so lucky to have him. Pittston, second down and 2 as they're trying to establish some kind of running game, getting 8 yards on first down. Fake keep by DeLuca, who gets perimeter, stopped on the corner, but not after a first down for Pittston. And it looked to me, Coach, like Luke DeLuca, the quarterback, is on defense making that play. But these eyes, I can never be 100% sure. Or I'm sorry, Luke DeLuca carried the ball, getting to perimeter, and carried the ball very well.
It's getting late in the night there, Coach.
So, yes. Okay, we got double tight. Receiver to each side. Ball's getting hand off. Cut back by Pugliese. Cut off tackle. Trying to find some running room. He's holding on the ball for a long time. Pittston's trying to get a little bit of a surge. And the Cougars got to get back to work up front. Start working on their pad level that we talked about earlier. Second down and 4. I'm sorry, second down and 6. Yes, what I meant to say is Drew DeLuca running with the ball just adds another dimension to the Pittston running game. And it looks like we have double tight, receiver to each side, shotgun, offset to the Cougar bench. Play action, DeLuca's looking, picks up a block, makes a move on Ryan Matthews. Very short gain, if any. We're looking at third down. Third and about 5. So the Cougars settled in there on that down, not allowing perimeter. Everybody stayed contained, stayed home, doing their job, doing their reads. You know, there's a lot of reads on defense, more so than people realize. There's a lot of keys. You're running gap control. You're doing your reads, whether a guard is pulling or not, setting up for pass protection. A lot of reads that everybody's looking at. And the defense doing their job on 3rd and 5. Twins to the right side, motion with the tight end. Offset to the tight trip side. DeLuca rolling, gets the ball off, and it is complete for a first down out in the flats. And it's just a simple flood pattern, Bob. 3 receivers going out to the same side, 1 short, 1 middle, 1 deep. He hits the middleman out in the flats. Ball's up to the 24-yard line. And the Cougars now on their heels have to settle down, and nothing stops a drive like a quarterback sack, and that's what Coach Steele's going to talk about right now with his defense, trying to get some pressure. Tight end with 2 receivers to the left. We're going to do a shift to an unbalanced. And just a quick pitch To the unbalanced side, Cougars read it well with Matt Bookman, Corchado, Mattias, and Maximo Tacano, all on the play. 2nd and 10. Bob Schnee, I know you're happy when you see that many people around the ball defensively.
I love that, Coach. I love that. That was read so well. You had 3 or 4 guys out there. So, again, take your hats off to the defense. Great job.
Trey Corchado improving every week, and the Cougar coaching staff loves to see that. I'm expecting a shift possibly or a motion. Snaps the ball without it. Beltre with pressure.
Good job, Beltre.
And there's the quarterback sack we talked about. Jim Beltre with pressure. Completely eluded the blocker in front of him. And a quarterback sack, once again, is going to hurt this drive. Tight ends going out. Receivers are coming in. Among them, Robbie Barberi, number 4. And it's 3rd and very long. You're looking at 17. And as I stated earlier, it's tough for a team like Pittston who wants a chunk yardage as opposed to having long yardage at one shot.
Beltre has such a motor on him, Coach. It's unreal.
And he just improves every week. Love watching him play. Only a junior at 6'1", 195. The sophomore has 2 receivers each side. Here comes the pressure again. Rolls to his right. Throws the ball over the head of the defender into the hands of the receiver. Robbie Barberi caught the ball over Trey Corchado for a 1st down for Pittston. And that's a low percentage play that just worked, and you have to give their sophomore quarterback credit there. 1st down, 10, 13-yard line of the Cougars, and Pittston is threatening.
Like you said, Coach, you got to give them credit. Great execution on that play.
2-back set offset by the up back. Counter to the left. Not much there. First man through to hit was Abreu with several teammates. Among them, it looked like Mitchell Maston. 2nd down and 9. This Alex Shovlin, who Christopher calls up as telling us is a sophomore, number 87. He's a nice-looking athlete, Bob, at tight end. Wouldn't surprise me if they want to try to get the ball to him as well. 2-back set, quarterback's going under the center. Takes the snap. Play action, boot pass, has perimeter. Looking. And that is a coverage sack. Nice job by Beltre, but you have to give the secondary a lot of credit there. Mitchell Masson among them. Matthew Bookman, Connor Shamani, Matthew Casadas, and linebacker Ryan Mattias. Great coverage, and that's what caused Beltre to get to the quarterback.
Right. Great coverage, and again, a great play by Beltre, who's coming across the whole field to make a tackle. Great job, Beltre.
Absolutely. 3rd down, 2 receivers each side, even offensive set. DeLuca throws the ball in traffic. Broke it up. That's a brave pass by the sophomore who throws the ball through the middle of the field. Now, one thing the sophomore is doing, you can read his eyes. He is looking at the receiver the whole time. And as time goes on, they'll have him start looking receivers off. But he had a bullet there to his receiver in the middle, just well covered by the Cougars. And I don't know if Coach Barberi is going to go for a field goal here. It looks like instead of going for points, he's going to try to get the 1st down, which is not going to be easy to do with 4th and 9. 2-back set, strong side to the Pittston side. Rolls to the strong side, rolls to the corner, and he may have completed that pass, and I got to tell you, it's a nice pass, maybe even a better catch. 1st down. This Robbie Barberi is very, very impressive. And I can tell you, there's a man looking down. His grandfather would be nothing but proud. I personally knew his grandfather. He was a longtime coach at Pittston. And you have to give the sophomore DeLuca a lot of credit. On the rollout to the strong side, Drew put the ball in the money, number 3 to number 4. First and goal, ball on the 3. Strong side to the Cougar left with 2 backs. Cougar right side, rather. Straight off tackle, touchdown Pittston. And it looked like Pugliese on the carry. Touchdown Pittston. And they drove the field there after a good position after a kickoff return, 50-yard drive. And that's going to put life in the visiting team right now. I'm impressed with the 4th down and long play. They ran a strong formation to the Pittston side. DeLuca rolled to his right, completed the pass out deep on the flats. And now for the point after, none other than Barberi's going to put it up. And the official signal says, yes, it's true, 14-7.
That's from my cousin Vinny, or what?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. I don't know. But the kick was true, and it's 14-7. Not false, Bob. Definitely true.
Well, it's time for the Cougars to go back to work, Coach.
14-7.
And again, I'm still waiting for one of those deep people to bring it to the house. There's just so much talent back there that it's going to come one of these plays.
Well, I will tell you right now, the Cougar coaching staff's going to talk to the defense. And they're going to try to make some adjustments there because they're still up by 7 points, but you don't want to see a team drive the field like that. And let's face it, they were very methodical. They drove the field. And Pittston did a nice job getting themselves back in the game. 14-7. Cougars waiting for the kick. It looks like we have Matthew Casadas, Matthew Bookman deep, somewhere around the 14-yard line. Pittston getting ready to kick the ball off. They're going to have a little bounce in their step. They're going to look to see if they can stop single receiver side on this play, this drive, Bob. And they're going to start looking at that play action flats passes under the linebackers as well. Ball's kicked, takes a nice Cougar bounce into the hands of Matthew Bookman, who breaks to the Pittston side and then breaks back to the middle where he's caught. And it looks like he's somewhere around the 34-yard line, where the Cougar offense will go back to work with number 14. Tyler Wolf getting the call from head coach Dennis Bookman. Okay, first down, 10. Pistol formation, two-back set. Play action again, back to the flats. We just talked about that. The ball's dropped by Matt. Yes, nice pass by Wolf. Just a little bit to the left side of Ryan, where I'd like to see it out closer to the Cougar side. Nonetheless, the play action flats was there. Bob, there's just nobody there to cover it.
No. Good play call. Ryan knows he has to make that catch.
Oh, sure.
He won't miss that again.
And Tyler's got to put the ball on the other shoulder instead of the back shoulder. But they're still running off the corner, hitting the flats, and you're looking at this 50 defense. There's no one that's going to cover the flats when you run the corner off. Matt Bookman makes a couple nice moves. You got to blow the whistle when you pick the athlete off the ground. Now, the officials got to know that. Pittston came up, made the tackle. We're not here to get anybody hurt. And you lift somebody off the ground, which is fine. It's legal, as long as you don't slam them. But that whistle's got to blow. blow that play dead so everybody stays safe. Third down. About 8 to go, Bob. And don't be surprised if you're going to see play action again with either the flats or maybe that slide pattern back underneath the backers. And we'll see what they elect to do. Third down and 8. Cougars trips to the right. He's looking to the trip side. He's breaking out to his right. Passes the ball to Jose Rodriguez. And we had a couple drops on this drive, but again, he was wide open to the trip side. And I like the way Tyler's putting the ball right in the numbers. 4th and 8. Listen, drops are going to happen.
Yeah.
If that happens, that's part of the game. You don't put your head down now. Now you dig in a little tighter. I used to say, Bob, bite down that mouthpiece a little harder, button that chin strap a little tighter, because you're now in a battle, and you're in a physical battle as well. 3 protectors, short snap. Luke gets the ball off. Fair catch. And back to work, as we're saying this name a lot tonight, Harry Pugliese makes that catch. Drew DeLuca will bring his team back out, led by a sophomore. Coach Barberry has to review now with the last drive what worked. Coach Brookman's got to counter that. And you know, football can become a chess match now, Coach, between both coaches. And that's exactly what you have right now. I think Coach Deal's going to look to get some pressure on Drew DeLuca, the sophomore. But it looks to me like he's coming out with a 2-back set, and he's going to go under the center, double tight. Handoff. Off tackle. Looks like just straight ahead football. We just talked about a physical football game. That's what Pittston's now bringing up front. Getting some small chunks at a time. 2nd down and 7. Maximo Tacona once again in on the play. Kid's playing well, Bob. He likes to get his pad levels low, get under the offensive lineman. Maximo is standing at 5'8", 225 junior, doing a great job. Double tight, 1 back, shotgun, offset to the right, runs a short counter. Pugliese cuts back to his right, takes a hard hit, bounces off it, but can't escape the grip. And I like the way the Cougars are rotating their D linemen in, keeping some fresh legs. Bob, 3rd and 5, what are you looking for here? Wouldn't surprise me if he rolls out again.
Yeah, to the right. We're losing contain for some reason out on the right-hand side.
Possibly the wide side of the field. Pittston elects to come out in an even set. 1 receiver double tight to each side. Shotgun, pressure coming from the Cougars on the blitz, throws the ball down the middle, broken up very nicely by number 2. And I have to tell you, Mitchell Maston does a nice job breaking that up. 4th and 5. So this time, Pittston decided to try the middle of the field as opposed to the corner routes that he had success with on the last drive. He's actually had a couple different times he's had success with it. But it's 4th down and 5, punt team out. Kicks the ball line drive, takes a couple bounces. Matthew Bookman picks it up, running toward the Cougar bench, running toward the Pittston bench, gets some room, breaks the tackle, and he's up close to midfield. So the Cougars elect to run wide toward the Pittston bench with success on the punt return. And I have to tell you, there was a nice block, because I'm thinking to myself, don't block in the back in the wide side of the field. Young man did a great job. And we're looking at seconds left, about 36 seconds in the 3rd quarter. A quick quarter indeed. So we're up around the 47-yard line. Cougars on their side of the 50-yard line. 1st and 10. And it wouldn't surprise me if you're looking at a lot of play action again, flats and posts, slants, slides. Motion. Ball's going to go to Casadas. Brookman's trying to get a block. Pittston reads it well, brings him out of bounds, and they're going to call a face mask on the young man who just drug him out of bounds. That's a tough call on number 1, Alex Hoban. But it looks like they're going to call a foul here, and let's see what the penalty is going to be, Bob. I'm assuming it's either a horse collar or a face mask. And I think they're going to wave it off. They're going to wave that off. And of course, as you can imagine, the Cougars fans don't agree with that. And it looks to me right now like Coach Bookman does not agree to it. And I can tell you this, Samantha, I think I'd be a little upset myself when you pick up a flag. Second down, 13 to go, Bob. Clock stops, obviously, with Casadas getting out of bounds. We got an open set here. 2 receivers each side, shotgun. Looking at a slide pattern, both sides of the ball, and actually they ran a double slide. Each receiver ran the same pattern. Tyler had his choice. Both were wide open. Tyler Wolf finds the open man. I have to tell you, he's just growing and growing with success. Pittston's having a hard time covering the flats because the linebackers are just coming up and nobody is dropping wide enough on the flats, which is going to be quite open for the Cougars unless they make a defensive adjustment. Again, even set, 2 receivers each side, shotgun, offset to the Pittston bench. Gun. Double move by the receiver. Nice throw by Tyler to find the open receiver, but well defended. 3rd down. I apologize, it's 4th down. 4th down, decision now time for Coach Brookman. Clock has to be stopped with the incomplete pass, so we can't go to the quarter. And Coach Brookman was about to call for his punt team. It's now going to stay with his offense, Bob, which is not a bad call around midfield. He's going to do one of 2 things here. He may do an RPO. He may try to draw him off sides.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to draw him off sides.
He has a lot of weapons out there and a lot of choices, but if he runs play action, he's certainly going to draw in those linebackers again.
Yeah, 5 yards isn't going to affect Russo.
So we have stop in the action. Coach Brookman's pointing. I don't see any yellow on the field, so I'm not sure what the call is. Delay a game. Delay a game.
Well, the decision's been made now.
Again, the clock is not going to start because it's a dead ball foul. The clock was stopped because of the out-of-bounds play, or incomplete pass, I should say. Reset the play clock, says Chris Basic. The official, Cougars will punt the ball as we're winding down in the 3rd quarter.
Good.
So the ball's going to take a Cougar bounce, bounce, bounce. And you couldn't ask for a better kick down inside to the 2-yard line. And Coach Brookman and I were just talking about this today, how last week Burr would kick the ball. I said, you don't see that too often in high school. And here we are seeing it 2 weeks in a row. But this time we see it in favor of the Cougars. And Coach Barberry now has his back to his own end zone. This is a coach's nightmare when you got to try to get the ball out of your own end zone because you don't want to punt the ball with your punter standing on the back line. Ball is spotted right on the 2-yard line with 5 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 14-7. Pittston's got to make some big decisions, and I think the quarterback will go under center with a 2-back set. Cougars will crowd the line of scrimmage. Ball is snapped, first back through. So the fullback gets the carry. as opposed to the running back, and the clock's going to hit 0. 14-7. We got 1 quarter to go. Stick around, everybody. We're in for a treat with the finish of this game. 12 minutes on the clock, 14-7 in favor of the home team.
Coach, this is what high school football is all about tonight. Beautiful night. A bunch of kids out supporting their teams. Just a great night for high school football. And you see both teams leaving it out there. Whoever's going to win is going to be the better team. Nobody's really hurting themselves with penalties or turnovers. So hopefully the Cougars prevail in this one. I mean, you have 12 minutes. And going back to Russo's kick, I know Coach Painter has been on Luke because of the one punt that he had right in front of us here that only went for 10 or 15 yards. But
that's the last home game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was the rugby style.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll tell you, when you're coaching high school football, actually any level football, and you're in a close match like this, and your back's against the wall, it's a chess match. And both coaches right now trying to figure out, get inside each other's head, what's going to work, what are we having success with, what are we going to do here. Well, it's 2nd down and 7. Pittston comes out with a 2-back set. One receiver to each side. This time he goes with a counter, 2nd man through, who's going to break the outside contain. Breaks a tackle and gets up near the 20-yard line. And I got to tell you, Puglisi's impressive runner. Coach Barbetti elects to stay with the power game. 1st down, Pittston.
Puglisi is the real deal, Coach. I mean, earlier on in the game, he was getting hit 3 and 4 times and still running with the ball. He's the real deal.
Connor Schmang did a nice job keeping contained as the receiver was actually on him, giving his teammates time to come over and make that play because Connor was out on an island. 2-back set. 1 receiver to each side. 2nd man through. Maybe a yard or 2. See, Coach, the difference between the word through and true. That time he went through. When the kick goes through, kick is true. That time he went through the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 6. We have a Cougar down. Samantha will try to get the number. The last thing we want to see is, which has been nice that it's been a pretty clean game, Coach Schnee, as you know. Good competitive game. But we have a 1st man down. And we'll try to get a number. And we all have to hope for the best for the young man down. But while there's a break in the action, I will tell you that you're looking at 2 different style football teams between the Cougars and the Patriots. Cougars running a 4-man front, Patriots running a 5-man front. Cougars mostly open sets on offense. And when they do have a 2-back set, they're going to run a pistol formation, I beg your pardon, where Patriots are going to go under the center, unlike the Cougars, and run a power set. So you're seeing a lot of variations of football here tonight, watching both teams well coached, and we just have to hope the best for the player that is down. And let's talk about, as Coach Schnee said earlier, the Cougar faithful, big crowd here tonight, a lot of them in red, student body, cheerleaders, band, great night for football. And we can't forget, Bob, our students in the broadcast booth, helping put this whole thing together so the Hazleton community can watch Cougar football. And Christopher Koslip has big plans as he's going to continue to carry many different sports and extracurriculars throughout the school year.
Coach Patron, not to change the subject here, just like today I attended the funeral of Mr. Jack Monday, longtime Little League coach, longtime PAL basketball coach. Mr. Monday was just a great man.
in 1971, he led the Hazleton Nationals to the only Little League state championship to ever come out of District 18. And the following year, he coached the state championship in 13-year-olds that won the 13-year-old state championship. And we're talking about family, and this is in 1971 when no families had money around here. But when you went down to Mundy's house, Mr. and Mrs. Mundy treated you like they were your own kid, and they didn't have nothing. But whatever they were eating, that's what you ate. And talking about people that, when they talk about family on teams, from day one, he treated you like you were one of his own kids, and it was an honor to play for Coach Mundy.
Well, this community will certainly miss Mr. Mundy. His selfless manner, helping all youth sports, icon this community. May he rest in peace. God bless him and his family. Pittston runs the ball out of a power set. First down, moving the ball near the 35-yard line. So Coach Barberry has found something now in this power I set. Power set meaning that the quarterback is under the center, I formation, tight end in every formation, takes the ball snap, this time first back through, and that's just a straight give to the fullback. He gets success. A lot of yards on first down, possibly 8 or 9. Mitch Masson on the tackle, 2nd and 1. Pittston Patriots on the move. Nikos Raypatch alternating in and out for the Cougars, keeping fresh legs. Back to the I formation. One receiver to each side, second back through off tackle. Looks like Bob is going to get enough for a first down. .44-yard line, 1st and 10, Barberry. To the right side of the formation, single receiver side. First back through, fullback again. Reaching success on the give, and that's just a simple, straight ahead, hat on hat block in Bob. That's Coach Barberry, what he wants to establish right now. He's moving the line of scrimmage. Cougars got to dig in here defensively. Coach Major, defensive line coach, Coach Sacco, Coach Starrick. They're going to get that D-line moving around a little bit, playing more gap control, trying to stop that fullback give. 2nd down and 5. Barberry again comes to the single receiver side toward the Cougar bench. Receiver up top, I formation. Play action this time, looking across the middle, he's in trouble. Scrambling, DeLuca lets it go. Incomplete. The young man, Drew DeLuca, did a nice job avoiding disaster, as we've been talking about the quarterback sack all night, but great coverage, great pressure on the quarterback. We're looking at 3rd and 5. Both quarterbacks playing well, Bob. It looks like the 4th game of the year, and it's a sign of a well-coached team. When your team's improving week after week, both got a W last week. Pittston against Valley West. Cougars up in Berwick. Both playing well, trying to get their 2nd win. 3rd down and 5. This time we're looking at a trip set to the right side. Back to the gun. Cougars step across the line of scrimmage. And if it's on the Cougars, it's either a first down or very close to a first down. Now the scoreboard says 5, but my eyes are telling me it's a little bit more than 5. Let's see. It's going to be close. So it's exactly 5 yards. Samantha Nema called it. 1st and 10 for the Patriots. And now they're in Cougar territory. On the 46-yard line, Cougars got to get back on their toes, Bob, off of their heels, get some pad level gap control. I formation. Watch the first back through. This time counter second one through. Pugliese takes a nice run up the middle off tackle. He's successful with 8 or 9 yards again. I could see Coach Bookman wants to talk to some of his players. He's probably telling the secondary right now to get a message to the interior front seven to do a better job on those counters and gives. Counters going to the second back through. Gives going to the first back through. I formation. Single receiver to each side. Pro left. Second back through. This time the corner comes up and leave it to Mitchell Masson coming up along with Jim Beltray and a host of Cougars. And that time the Cougar coaching staff said, we've had enough, let's get extra pressure. And that's exactly what they did. Third down and 3. Big call coming up for Pittston, who elects to get out of the power set. Trips right. I imagine he's going to roll to the right side. It's exactly what he does. Looking downfield. Hits Barberi, who steps out of bounds. Gets up near the first, or past the first down mark. Somewhere near the 26-yard line. 1st and 10. 7:29 to go. Right now, the offensive line of Pittston is winning the battle up front. Cougars got to try maybe some sliding to the formation. I formation, second back through. Breaks a couple tackles, finished strong. And though he didn't get much, Coach, Pugliese is impressing the both of us the way he's finishing his runs. But minimal gain. So nice job by the Cougar front seven this time. Maximo Tucano in on the tackle, said we've had enough. Let's crowd the line of scrimmage a little more, and you can see they're now bringing up 7, 8 in the box. One high, but that high is up close to the linebacker. Fullback through, straight through, gets caught from behind, and it looks like Maximo Tucano again. And we're looking at 3rd down. And you know they're in 4 down territory, actually. So they're going to look at 2 downs to get 4 yards. Stay with the I formation. Pro to the left side. That means tight end receiver to the left. This time he's going first back through. He's had success on that play, but not this time. You're looking at minimal gain. So one of the biggest plays of the game coming up right now, 4th and 2. Does either coach stop the clock here to talk to their team, or are they just going to continue to see what happens here? Cougars got to play tough D. Pitston's got to block up front to try to get 2 yards. It's a battle right now of the trenches and the Cougars tightening up on defense, hearing from their whole crowd. But Pittston elects to go to shotgun. Receivers to the Pittston side. 3 receivers set, and we got a flag. And this is going to be a sideline warning. It's not going to be yardage, but I believe it's a sideline warning, which means too many coaches and too many players in the box, and you're going to see Cougars sideline people take a step back, and it's a simple sideline warning.
Coach, this play is who wants it more.
Absolutely.
Right here, that's what high school football, right here.
4th and 2 shotgun. Trips to the left side. DeLuca rolls to his left, throws the ball. Pittston sideline is saying complete. The officials call good reception. And he had his choice there, Bob, because he had perimeter. He could have tucked and run for the first down. But rolling to his left, which is a tough thing to do for anybody, let alone a sophomore, He gets the ball up. And it's first down from maybe the 8 or 9 yard line. Back to the I formation. First back through. Pittston is moving the ball inside the 5. And I'm looking at this receiver out here by himself. Post pattern is open. I don't know if they're going to elect to throw that. But they're having success with the first back through. Now let's see how the Cougars are going to play this one. Crowding the line of scrimmage, I formation. Barberi out wide right. First back through this time is Matt right at the line of scrimmage. And a great job by number 10, Ryan Matthews. Coach Nee, you talk about him all the time. His intensity, his desire, his pride.
Constantly in there working, Coach.
Pittston went to the fullback one too many times there. It kept going to the well. Having success. Third down. One of the bigger plays of the game coming up right now. I formation strong to the right side. Second back through. Pugliese puts his foot in the ground, cuts off tackle, power set, power play, touchdown.
Coach, that was just old-fashioned football, smash-mouth football. And a great play by DeLuca. Again, not too many high school kids, again, could make that pass.
Yeah, rolling to his left, it was impressive. Big kick coming up. Should I say it? Should I say the word true?
It's true.
T-R-U-E. It's true. 14-14. And the Cougars and Pittston knotted at a tie game, 2 touchdowns each. 3 minutes, 59 seconds to go. You're certainly seeing a great game in Harmon Guy Stadium tonight. But the Cougar offense, who's had success tonight, 2 big possessions, 2 big scores. We'll see what they elect to do here. Play action has been working for them, hitting the short flat routes, and they're always a threat to go up top, as you saw when Tyler Wolf scrambled to his right, under duress, corner came up, we hit Connor Shamani for over a 50-yard touchdown. So the Cougars can do it both ways. Short pass, long pass, and you know they can run the ball with number 1 and number 10, either Bookman or Matthews. So Coach Dennis Bookman has a lot of weapons at his fingertips, and you know he's going to use them. And Tyler Wolf's going to come of age here in a tight game, a little less than 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. First-year starting quarterback. This is big. It looks like Matthew Bookman and Matthew Casadas deep for the Cougars. S. Pittston lines up to kick the ball after a big score and a big drive. Line drive kick, takes a funny bounce. Good athlete in Bookman to pick it up. Makes a cut. Good coverage somewhere around the 28-yard line where the Cougars will start an extremely important drive. And regardless of what happens here, you want to get some success, Bob, because you want to at least, if you can't get the first and you have to punt, you want to be able to punt it deep into their territory so they'd have to drive the field. So there's a couple of things that are going now in Coach Bookman's mind. He's surrounded by an outstanding staff, an outstanding cast of athletes. And now it's going to go into offensive line's hands. Short 2 starters. They're stepping up to the line of scrimmage. Motion by Bookman. And this is when they go to the second back through. It's Casadas, great speed, breaks a tackle, and close to a first down for the Cougars. So what happened there is a two-back set. Motion now, Bookman hoping the backers would slide with him, leaving Casadas free to run the ball.
That's a nice little wrinkle Coach Bookman just threw in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it's about. It's a chess match right now, trying to keep both teams off balance. Pittston did a nice job running the football out of I formation, and now it's the Cougars' turn to reciprocate. 14-14. Clock stops. Officials blow it dead. Conversation happening right now. And I think they're going to say it's a first down. They're going to say Casadas got enough on that carry for a 1st and 10. Conversation with the officials right now. So we are now waiting for the clock operator to get the right time on the clock. Three minutes, 42 seconds, 1st and 10 for the hometown Cougars. Cougars coming out with a two-back set, shotgun, gets the ball on a play action, tries to get the ball out in the flats, tip pass, and tip passes, Bob Schnee, as you know, can be very dangerous. Cougars get a break there, 2nd down and 10, no damage done. Nice play action by Tyler Wolf, I have to tell you. There was plenty of the defenders going with the fake to Casadas. And Coach Bookman's playing a play ahead of each play. He ran the ball to Casadas the play before, ran play action to him, tried to get the ball to Bookman. Nice call. 2nd and 10. Even set, 2 receivers, each side, shotgun. Looking over the middle to Rodriguez, who gets the catch, moves the ball forward, past the 45, to about the 46. We're looking at 3rd and short. So again, the play action and the linebacker vacating. Short in the hook zone and in the flats. They're having success, Bob.
That's where the openings are, Coach.
Yes.
I mean, who knows better than you? You were the best.
Well, thank you, Bob. 3rd down and 3. Pistons staying with their 5-man front. Quick snap. Throws the ball again.
Dazed. Up.
And Matt Bookman, Matt Casadas, not only makes the catch in the hook zone by where the linebacker was, breaks out toward the Pittston bench. Big gain. Great play. Great call.
If there was another yard on the sideline, Casadas would have been gone.
Yes, and maybe even less. 1st down and 10. Ball spotted in Pittston territory. Even set. 2 receivers each side. Shotgun. Looking downfield. Looking in the middle. Scrambles up the middle. He's caught by Pittston. And it looks to me like Charles Skyandra on the play. That's a big loss, Bob. 2nd down.
Comes down to our skilled people against their skilled people now, Coach.
Yes, along with those lines. Both lines have to play tough. It's 2nd and 14. Cougars line looking to give Tyler Wolf some time. Pittston trying to get an extra man in the box. He goes to the short pass to Bookman. Plants his foot, makes a move, finishes strong. We're looking at down, 3rd down, maybe 5 or 6. So a good 8 yards on that play. I have to tell you, Connor Shamani was all alone up the hash. But the play obviously was going to a hot read to the running back, Matthew Bookman. But they'll come back to that. And maybe that wheel route we saw earlier in the quarter when we didn't hit Matthews, I'm sure that's in the back of his mind as well. Tyler Wolf calls for the signals. From shotgun, looking. He hits him! What a great pass! Great catch by Christian Price. 1st down.
Great throw.
And a great read, but great hands on Price.
Nice.
Catch the ball over his head. Cougars moving the ball. And we are inside a minute. It could be Luke Russo time. 1st and 10. Trips to the Cougar bench. Shotgun. Tyler Wolf. Play action in the middle of the Casadas. Catches the ball. Great call, great catch. Tyler Wolf showing great poise. The play action's working, and it's been working all night. So a great drive that started around the 29-yard line. We're already up to the 16-yard line. And I don't know if you have to get much closer for the strong leg of Luke Rousseau, who's right now at the kicking net, Bob, practicing a kick, heart pumping a little faster, excited to get into the game.
Cougars have 2 more timeouts left yet, Coach.
Pittston Patriots on their heels right now. Play action definitely hurting them. Tyler Wolf back in shotgun, trips to the Cougar side, and Matt Bookman is offset to the trip side. Tyler Wolf looking deep, throws the ball, touchdown!
Great catch, great throw.
What a great play with 28 seconds left in the game. Connor Shamani, sure-handed.
Great job, offense. Great job, buddy.
Kick is up. Hands go up. And it's now 21-14 with 28 seconds to go. And what a play, what a catch, what a pass, touchdown, and a great call by Coach Bookman. Went to the single receiver side, trips to the offset side was a Cougar bench. They went up top to the Pittston side corner, and a touchdown.
And it's great the Hazleton student body is still here, and they've been vocal the entire day, game behind their team.
It's great to see. Calling Connor Shamani's name, and Connor is so sure-handed. Single receiver side. Coach Brookman said, I'm not playing for the field goal. We're getting 6 here.
Great calls and execution on the whole series.
Exactly right.
Again, it goes back to show you what our kids are made out of. They wanted it more. They're not going to be denied tonight. They're not going to, not let these people go home without a victory tonight. Their parents, I mean, you only have 5 home games, Coach.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
5 away games. It's 10 games. That's why this game's so great.
So Luke kicks the ball deep. Looks like it went through the end zone. And that was close to going out of bounds. So the Patriots got to drive the entire field. 80 yards to tie this game up. It would be a little bit different if they were just having to play for the field goal. Coach Brookman's going to make them drive the entire field. 21-14. Regardless of the outcome, you saw a great game here tonight.
Yeah, this is where you have to give both teams credit. Great high school football, great atmosphere, and a great victory for our school. Great job by the kids. Great job by the coaching staff.
Entire program. It took the entire program to win this one. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but to put the lead with 28 seconds to go. Pittston's going to have to come out throwing, obviously. And I believe they have all 3 timeouts left, Bob. Clocks will stop on the first down marks if they should get a first down. And the Cougars going in with 2 high. Drew DeLuca looking out to the flats. Incomplete pass. Receiver wasn't looking for the ball yet. Drew had to get rid of it quickly. 2nd and 10.
Nobody's happier than Coach Drumhill.
Absolutely. 2 high safeties for the Cougars. Pittston is trips. They're going to try to get the ball out to the back, away from trips. They were looking for Pugliese, but DeLuca never got a hand on it. And we're going to get a timeout. 17.9 seconds to go. Clock is now against Pittston and all for the Cougars with only 17 seconds left. And that's another great point about the Cougar last drive. They ate up most of the clock.
Well, next week, Coach, we go to Dallas.
That's exactly right. Rich Manello coach team in Dallas, who could not play today due to their opposing team with a COVID situation. And I'm sure Rich Manello is looking at the Cougars closely. Rich Manello, a long-time coach, coached college level, D3, high school level. I know Rich a long time. One of the best recruiters I've ever been around. One of the best motivators I've ever been around. And that's going to be a battle up in the back mountain next Friday. And then we're back home versus Delaware Valley, a Keith Olsemer team who's not having a successful year at 0-3, but he has a very, very good program. So young DeLuca will get the ball out quick to Pugliese, trying to do a one-on-one, and a nice call by Coach Barberi. That's going to probably cause him to call a second timeout, and you're looking at one more play, 4th and 9. If they don't get the first, it's over. But with only 10 seconds to go, you're limited. Very limited against a cover 2 high safety defense, running a prevent now, dropping their linebackers back. It's just, you just don't have plays in your playbook that go 80 yards. But I will tell you this, Coach Brookman's extremely proud of his team, and I think Coach Nick Barberi can leave here tonight with his head held high, his team's heads held high, because they certainly put on a great show here at Harmon Guy Stadium, scoring both of their scores in the second half, and mostly on the ground ball.
Correct.
Coach Brookman hoping to get his second win of the year, his first home win of the year. Prevent defense by the Cougars. DeLuca looking to throw the ball over the middle. Broken up. And we may be down to one play. Kayvon Minor doing a great job breaking up the pass. Cougars did a great job not only scoring a touchdown, but driving the entire field, chewing up the clock, because Coach Bookman knew Pittston was having success on the ground, did not want to give the ball back to them with much time on the clock. He wanted to force them to go to the air, and we may be looking at the last play of the game. Hopefully the Cougars will get on the field before this ball snaps so they don't run right down the field, because Pittston's out there ready to go. Coach, get the team on the field before they snap the ball. Coach Book went out to the 30-yard line, encouraging his team. Coach Drumheller talking to his secondary. And now we're going one safety high. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was fourth down. So the Cougars just had a kneel on the ball. The great victory as Tyler Wolf kneels on it. And this game is over. Second win by the Cougars. They moved to 500 at 2-2. All they had to do was kneel on the ball. And we got some dancing now by the Cougars. And who could blame them with a big home win? 14 for Pittston, 21 for our Cougars. And a quick recap, Pittston did a nice job running the ball on the ground, found some success not only with the fullback, but with the tailback as well. But I got to tell you, DeLuca hit some big passes too to keep some drives alive.
Yeah, I was very impressed with DeLuca, sophomore. I was impressed with the running back, Pugliese, shoveling the big kid, 6'3", probably about 240, the tight end, and Nick Barberi's son, Bobby Barberi.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like you said, both teams left it out there. Hazleton ended up winning the game, but just a great high school football game tonight.
And then on the other side, for a recap with the Cougars, they found success, a lot of it play action, hitting the ball in the flats, hitting the ball in the linebacker hook zones, and a great scramble and a 2-touchdown day for Connor Shamani, a great scramble for a long pass up the Cougars sideline. And then, of course, the biggest play of the game, the big touchdown to put the Cougars ahead for good, 21-14. With very little time left, Pittston came back, 4 and out, and then the Cougars just had a kneel on the ball. Game over. And I got so excited I lost count, thinking that Pittston had one more play. But the Cougars get a victory, and they got to be extremely happy. So, for Samantha Neiman, Bob Schnee, Christopher Kozlop, and the entire broadcasting booth, I'm Rocco Petrone. Hope you enjoyed this game, and we'll be back when Cougars return home versus Keith Ulsimer's Delaware Valley.
Great job, Cougars.
Bob, thank you once again tonight. Pleasure working with you.
Same here, Coach. Same here, and honored to work with the student body here.
Good night, everyone.